The year was 2011, and mobile gaming was on the rise. With the growing computing power of smartphones, along with countless new users daily, game studios became increasingly more ambitious. Overnight, games were going viral, transforming tiny game companies into iconic behemoths. Z2 was one of these, an obscure Seattle studio that gave birth to the Genghis Khan of mobile games, inspiring, for better or worse, today's most popular titles. Over the course of roughly 5 years, the company would grow from several people to a mobile gaming superpower, altering the industry permanently. In 2009, Z2 Games was founded by David Blum and Damon Daniele, two longtime players in the tech industry, more on them later, who had the goal of creating an Xbox lifestyle gaming platform.
You're in fucking teeth, I get more pussy than you.
When you put your elbows together and the big fatness of your arms looks like one.
Until Game Center was announced, and the company decided to switch to mobile gaming. By early 2011, the company had gained some notoriety, with the release of its social gaming IP, Trade Nations.
I want to battle, I want to fight each other, let me blow stuff up. We said, that would be really fun. We kind of bought into it. So we decided to really build that game from the ground up as opposed to kind of tacking it on afterwards. We wanted to make a game where battle really mattered.
And it was an immediate success, reaching 800,000 downloads by the end of 2012. And in large part, that was because of the dedicated team who were scouring the forums daily, searching for ways to improve the game based on player suggestions, adding new features, patches, and updates weekly. With hundreds of thousands of active players each month, a cult-like following quickly formed around the game, taking its popularity galactic. And by 2013, the game had a constant place at the top of the App Store charts. And with Battle Nations shattering records, it seemed written in the stars that Battle Nations and Z2 would find themselves among Goliaths, like Clash of Clans and Supercell. So, since you've probably never heard of either of these, that leaves us with one question. What happened?
Guess this mean more money, more problems for you.
Yeah, I guess so. More money, more problems. It's just the way it is.
Hey, we're coming back to you, Billy.
Despite being technically a free game, Battle Nations was costly, since Z2 had implemented wait times for everything, from unit training to building construction. At first, the waits were only a few seconds. However, as the player progressed, they became longer, sometimes taking days to complete. Most players accepted this freemium strategy, and were kept happy by the constant stream of new content and regular updates. Until late 2014 and early 2015, when seemingly out of nowhere, updates slowed and the content well went dry, which caused a ripple effect from the Battle Nations forums to the Steam page, where countless posts searching for new members began appearing, which would go unanswered as more and more players quit the game, complaining of the cost and repetitive gameplay. Despite its issues and falling player count, in mid-2015, Battle Nations was still salvageable, and with some TLC, Z2 could have Frankensteined it. Yet, the dev team wasn't the problem. It was the two executives, who behind the scenes were discussing an acquisition by King. For context, King is the maker of Candy Crush, a very simple, relatively cheap to run game that had more monthly players than Battle Nations had downloads. On top of this, King was owned by Activision, who, whilst standing on their money, was more than 6'6". By 2015, there were countless mobile game companies, like Z2, controlling a large market share, and Activision, who owned King, wanted to eliminate as many of their competitors as possible in order to maximize their profits. In reality, King and Activision didn't care if Z2's games succeeded or failed. What they really wanted was to eliminate a competitor and force Battle Nations players to games like Candy Crush. Eventually, the deal went through, and the announcement that King had acquired them for $150 million was followed by mass layoffs, which meant even fewer updates for Battle Nations. Battle Nations spent the next year on life support, with one major update, which was a far cry from the nearly weekly updates it once received. The player base remained relatively unaware of the chaos at Z2, and believed that the devs had simply given up on the game to pursue other ventures, which was partially true with Z2's release of its final IP, Paradise Bay, in August of 2015. On September 28th, 2016, it all came to a bittersweet conclusion, when Z2 pulled the plug on Battle Nations along with all its other IPs. Except Paradise Bay, which was technically King's IP and would remain online, with the final handful of Z2 employees who had survived the layoffs. In what equates to a mercy killing, in 2019, King officially shut down Z2. Although the end isn't what I might have hoped for the studio or its games, I'm grateful for what they did give. And more than 11 years after its release, and 6 years after its death, Battle Nations' impact on gaming can still be felt. That wasn't the end though. Around the same time as Z2's euthanization, a group of former fans got together and began to recreate the game, using salvage code, entities, unit, and building models, and of course, their nostalgia. And since then, they have brought the game back to life, fixing what caused the game to fail, and building on all the great aspects, all the while doing so on a shoestring budget provided to them by the generosity of their donors on Patreon. What this group of talented individuals has been able to come together and create is truly incredible, and it brings a smile to my giraffe face. What inspired me to make this video was the nostalgia and the memories of playing with and battling my brother as I built my empire, along the way learning more about the fascinating lore of the world of Battle Nations. I look forward to seeing what this team does. The future is bright for this game, and I hope to spread the word about its existence for former and new players alike. The top 3 links below are where you can find the Patreon, Discord, and download link for the game. If you enjoyed this video, please stay tuned for my upcoming content where we will explore the forgotten side of the internet. If you really enjoyed the video, then please consider joining my Discord description. That being said, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.